Welcome to geo.garden. I thought today I would walk you through the main event, which is the big garden that surrounds our porch. I've done a lot of work with this garden. I've been in this house for about 5 years now, and it's really starting to come together. I think right now it might be at its absolute top peak, but I thought I'd walk you through some of the decisions and changes that have taken place, just to point out that sometimes we have to pivot away from our original plan and come up with something different. Initially, when I built this garden, I was really leaning into pastel. In fact, it was all pale pinks because this garden, when we bought the house, had a number of large azalea bushes and they were all pale pink. So I thought I'd lean into that. And the one purple hosta bush had already been there. Our color palette has changed quite a bit. Last year I was only sticking with pastels, pale pinks, pale purples, and some whites. But now you can see we're adding lots of pops of color. And I love getting as much movement as I can and height. These lilies on the wall are a perfect example. This house also is surrounded by the woods, so you can see here we get a lot of opportunity to shade ourselves. And in a southern garden, that's really important. Here we are in the early morning sun, and you can see how wonderful it is. This is a new pathway we added this year. Some of the stones are from our own land. Some of them came from one of those big box stores. Either way, it's given me an opportunity to walk along the garden without getting my feet wet. This is Lullaby Daylily. You can see it's a really pale white, and that I added it back when we were going super pastel. I'm also leaning into these burgundy colored plants because it breaks up the contrast of all of that green, and it makes me super happy. I've added lots of bright purples, lots of blues. I've also leaned into adding these planters. Here I found some Veronica, which I think looks great. It gives me lots of height and movement. As we head back over this way, you can see the tree we added this year. I love this maple. She's got these deep burgundy color, and it really adds a lot of contrast when you look at the garden from the road. This area cracks me up because it was supposed to be pastel, and here there's lots of dark pinks, but they look great in contrast against the white. So again, never be afraid to pivot and go in a different direction if what you're doing isn't working. And you can see when we look at them all together, it really flows nicely. I love the way this all comes together. Lots of different heights, and of course, never be afraid to use a container to supplement. Here's where some of the really biggest changes took place in the garden. This was mostly filled with azaleas, and this area right here, I actually took out one of the largest azaleas because it was just taking up a lot of space. And as much as I love the azaleas, most of the year they're just a green backdrop. And this was definitely usable space. The coneflower here and the sedum I had in front of the azalea, but everything behind it is added in the last year after I pulled out that azalea. You can see I have a hydrangea here. It's an oak leaf hydrangea. It's not doing great, so we'll see if we keep that in place or not. But it's always a work in progress. We can always make changes. There was also an azalea here where I've planted this tree. I took that out early this spring so that I could have this bright pop of color. And actually the agapanthus didn't do well until I took that azalea out of play. I think we'll wrap it up here for today. I hope you enjoyed a visit, and I hope you'll come back and sit with us again while we walk our way through the different aspects and different gardens that make up the Geo Garden. I hope you're learning lots, and I hope you're enjoying the view and the garden tour here. Have a wonderful day, my garden friends.